Howdy everyone. It's Thursday, you know what that means. Normally means I stream, but I haven't streamed on a Thursday in ages, to be honest. I should stream on that. I'm gonna try to get back into the Thursday streams. How's it going, everyone? Everyone's doing well. Ski Master Nathan, thank you for the 14 months of Twitch subscription, of which the just didn't appear. I've tried fixing that. I don't know why it's not working. It's great. How's it going, everyone? Hope you're all doing well on this fine Thursday. We're going to be yapping. That's about it. Going to be talking about all the Warhammer stuff, all the cool Warhammer, cool news stuff and whatever, and I will all about it. I'll discuss all of the updates, all of what that means. Am I cooked? Maybe. Guess we'll find out. We're talking Shogun Showdown? We're not talking Shogun Showdown. EU important to debattle stuff. I am in debattle stuff. Yeah, we'll be chatting about it and wait till like 7. I'm a bit early. What do I think about the Blade Guard vet ability? I do think it is good. I think it's interesting that it's no longer at the start of the fight phase. It's now when you select them to fight, which is good. So obviously it's worse for if you are attacked first, but better if it's attacking. Because it's what? It's +1 to hit or -1 to hit. And I think +1 to hit is very good. I call SCM player. Oh my god. I assume you CSM, but hello, local CSM player who is weeping over their defilers right now. Love your Centurion video. Thank you very much. I enjoyed that video. I enjoy Centurions. You're always cooked, but it's fine. True. I'm a fan of your thinking path. Please stop playing what I'm playing. I do apologize. Ace of Dragons. Hey, that does work.
Zanger nerfs are crazy. Sons did not deserve it.
I don't think... Did Zangles even get nerfed? I think Zangles are fine. T-Sons did kind of deserve it. The Defilers were obscene. Like... Let's be real. The Defilers were... The 4-up Overwatch was absurd. And we can go over them deleting an entire playstyle for Tau. Yeah. Tau... The thing is, Tau is still pretty good. Right? It's just they have very little variety. You're either playing Montcar or you're Rostully. There are no in-betweens. T-Sons are one of those armies which... Any time they get nerfed into the ground and the sky is falling for T-Sons, they always win. Because T-Sons just can do that. They can just suddenly decide, hey, I am now going to pivot to this and I'll win. What are you talking about? Crew is the best town. What have you fought Salamanders? Fought Salamanders? I've played a Salamanders. I still think the Salamanders build is probably still good, but obviously the Librarians... I don't know, actually. The Librarian stuff probably isn't even that bad. It just means you don't take Stern Guard anymore. You just rely more on... Well, you probably still take the Stern. Don't put them into tanks. Was the meta chaser, you coward? I mean, it's not my fault it was Taupe. Let's be real. My lists are... I'm still, for my own lists, playing Shadowmark Talon. I've still got Centurions in there, even with Las Cannons, even though it's 30 points more. I'll see how it goes. Maybe Grav Cannons are actually okay. I don't know. You don't play Defilers? Well, there you go. You're probably doing all right with CSM. We're all here for your time of hardship. Thank you. Thank you. As long as everyone is here for me. That's okay. I didn't realize that those Centurion Devastators come as a double build with Assault Centurions until yesterday. That's why I got 3 Centurions right after enough. I see, yeah. Very, very difficult, though, to actually put them correct. Like, I don't know how you'd magnetize them to be both. This is what I did to get 36 of them. Just recently got my son to 40k and returned to playing after quitting the start of 4th edition. I'm now playing Necrons. At my son's suggestion, he decided to play Ultramarine. Yes, I did buy him a box of Assault Centurions for his birthday. Excellent choice. You are a great father. Or, although I don't think you actually specified. I just... the King, I think, probably included me in there. Also, it's fine for them, you know, obviously, Ultramarines. Everyone's first army is Ultramarines. My first army was Ultramarines as a kid. And Ultramarines are cool. They did absolutely get giga nerfed, but as long as he's not using any of the characters, you're fine. That's okay. Necrons are also always good. Necrons are fun. You Exodite Dragon Knights seem alright. Yeah, the new Dragon... I tried reading them and I got very confused. Got Space Wolves in 3? Yeah. Space Wolves are awesome. Centurion 1 DP detachment? I had an idea. So I've been meaning to do... to sort my Screaming Raven homebrew out for 11th. I should do it at some moment. Thank you for subscribing to the Prime for 13 months. Apologies that the Twitch alerts aren't working. Look at this way. If the nerfed Centurions and there's a glimmer of hope, they'll enjoy relentless. Exactly. They actually looked at Centurions and tried to do something. I got a box XL. Are you proud of me? I am. Not for the Ruggle Doors, though. However, the YouTube alerts are still working fine. Ultramarine players should not be caring about the meta, is my hot take. You're playing the start faction. Yeah, the problem is Ultramarine players are... Yeah, most Ultramarine players probably aren't caring about the meta. The problem is by just buying the Ultramarine characters, you usually... Oh. But hey, who knows? I should now introduce Paul as my favourite VTuber. True. I am a good VTuber. Especially when my model glitches out and goes funny. Have you been, Paul, and what are your plans for 11th? I've been good, thank you. Zenik, how have you been? Plans for 11th so far have been... I've not played many games. I'm trying to take it a little bit slow. Because obviously, with how quick things are churning through, like, I undercoated a bunch of stuff. Like, built and undercoated a bunch of stuff, which I don't need anymore. Like, I'm not going to be playing the Librarians or some of the other stuff I undercoated, so it's like, so I'm not really... Like, I'm still kind of keep up and try and make lists, but I'm not trying to play too many games until things kind of balance out a bit. Because I'm already jumping around loads of different missions, which is quite good, I guess, at the start. I might be doing Take and Hold now, after doing Recon and possibly Disruption. It's all over the place. Otherwise, things are going well. You mentioned wanting to make a Chapter Master still planned. Yes, I have good ideas for that. Model-wise, no idea how I'm going to do that. Agents didn't get nerfed. It's true. Agents actually didn't even get... Not even that they didn't get nerfed. They actually got buffed. Agents got actual attention. Like, real, tangible attention. Agents is a real army now. Crazy. You good trying to get my new orcs painted? Hell yeah. I'm slowly working through painting some relic terminus. Hell yeah. Oh, shingles, that sucks. Slanesh, thank
Sorry,
you.
Paul, but it's not my fault. Zionch was saying you had too much unpainted T-Suns.
That is fair. Thank you for the final. What's your opinion on the touch points of the system? I think it is good. That one works.
Hey, Paul, love your videos.
Why does the other ones not work?
You inspired me to actually start playing 40k instead of just painting.
Louder.
I'm thinking of joining a local tournament at some point.
Oh yeah, Zimby Grim, thank you for the 500 bits. Glad we actually start playing 40k and they're just painting. Awesome. Yeah, hope you have a good time at local tournament. Like, go in there with not much expectation, just go in there and have a good time. Just play some games, have fun. Like, I definitely, from kind of doing the stuff that I've been doing with Toby, I definitely do value being more of a goof at tournaments. I think for teams tournaments, I'll probably be less so because I don't want to let my team down. In solo tournaments, there is the potential that I do stuff. I'm still trying to learn to play the game better so that my goofy stuff isn't just bad. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's cool. And yeah, have fun. Just yeah. And if you meet any like the people who are very, very good, like who will probably win, are also usually the nicest people. They're super nice. Like if you see my videos with Toby, he's an absolute laugh. He's up for he's up for being a good ball as well. Super nice guy. Most of the top players are like that as well. Not seeing what they've done with Centurions, what they like. So basically what they did with Centurions is they made las cannons 5 extra points. So if you want to take las cannon, it's 5 points per model. So it's a total of 30 points for a squad of 6. So you can still take them for 350 with grav cannons or with heavy bolters. Wait, the grav cannons might be okay? Maybe. I don't know. The range is the problem. Jimmy Grim, what are you playing, by the way? What are you thinking of playing? Also, thanks to the ending of one of your older videos, I discovered the Necron 500 world box, and I'm not building it while watching. I have 2 of those I still haven't built. I'm going to do a stream at some point. Start setting up my Necron army. I know Necron list got nerfed by 5, being 5.72k. Oof. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Seriously, for gaff. Goofs and gaffs are all allowed. Yeah. Meta chase this, meta chase that. True. I am a meta. I have no idea what I'm playing for the second round of Toby's. Could be anything. But I think I will be making a video on that first game of that tournament where I played Salamanders, because that was a fun. Night Lords, hell yeah. This isn't meta or anything, it's just stuff I think is, to be fair. Like I said, obviously the top players and some nice people. The other nice people you'll play are the ones who play, like, whatever they think is cool. I played at Birmingham, I played against a player, and she was playing Alpha Legion, like proper Alpha Legion, using Deceptors, the Deceptors attachment. And it was like 8 infiltrating units, and like a Lord Discordant. It was awesome. It was a great army. Really nicely painted as well. And I also played against someone who'd had 5 Nemesis Grey Knight player with 5 Nemesis Dread Knights. I did beat both of them, so part of me liking those players is because I can win against them. I feel like the thing is with a lot of my lists, and I've said this before, but it kind of has become more and more apparent, is that my lists are basically, they snowball out of control so quickly, but if I can't start that snowball, it's crazy. But I'm hoping with the way that my new list works, I think I can just full snowball. Like, I'm not going to say too much about my new list unless I just forget and then say about it later. But I think with my new list, I can probably, like, kill maybe the majority of an army in one turn. Maybe? I don't know. I need to test it. Java Cake 8800, thank you for becoming a member. And you too can become a member and support me financially and all that stuff. The super chats. As we get more and more viewers, super chats and stuff is going to be the easiest way if you want to ask questions. I already know I'm missing loads of stuff. So I do apologize. What's even the weapon profile on the grab cannons? It's 3 attacks each, strength 6, AP 1, 3 damage, but it's anti-vehicle 2+, but not twin-linked. But if you use the Combi Lieutenant and you aim at something that's on an objective that you choose, it's essentially twin-linked because it's rerolls a 1 to wound, which the Combi Lieutenant is 95 points now. It's a bit much. It's a bit steep. Can't believe James watched going for specifically. I know. My list that I hadn't actually played yet went up 80 points and also got rules nerfed. Like, maddening. Leo Sticker.
Hello. Just had game with my Blood Ravens. Playing Shadowmark / Vengeful Host. Centurion's done lot of work, plus I plan to add 12 Inceptors, 6 Bolters, 3 and 3 Plasma. How do you like new detach?
The new detachment is amazing. I definitely want to give it a go. Dudex Paints, thank you for becoming a member. My list is using the Shadowmark Vengeful Host. Did you have las cannons on the cinch? If so, that's actually helpful. 12 Inceptors, yeah. I might be trying 80. 2 lots of 6 Bolters and 6 Plasma. Maybe. It's up in the air. You got Micro Super Go? Hell yeah. Micro Super Go. We're collecting Joy Toy Iron Warriors, planning to start playing the real game on a budget though. No OC Warband. Awesome. Yeah, like I still play my own like custom chapter, but I do different card characters because they're pretty good. So, I mean, assuming you're not going to use the actual Joy Toys in the game and just everyone upscales, that'd be a bit much. Unless you just use them as knights, that'd be fun. Anyone advice for playing against Tau? Fought them the first time and lost 16 to 81. Depends what you're playing, and it depends what they're playing in terms of Tau. I haven't played against them in 11th. But yeah. I was playing with Reclamation Librarians. This went up 80 points. Now it's just dead. Yeah. But I think the one that actually was probably going to get off okay is Salamanders. Like, you... There's a few points hikes, but you can just drop, like, a small unit for it. 4 miniatures from Warhammer, so hell yeah. Further reading scheme remembers what factions you playing this edition, perhaps sitting Necron list. I might try Necrons. Orcs look like a lot of fun, but I haven't got much of an idea of what I'm doing there. I do want to try and get into Drukhari, maybe. Depends on what their release is like. But I think I'm probably going to continue just playing Screaming Ravens. Yeah. Ulysses 5, Baneblades are due. I mean, Baneblades got buffed. Why was the Silent King nerfed? Did any of the new rules make him better? Because being Chris, I'm out 205. I mean, the Silent King was really, really good. He was 420 before. He got buffed and then nerfed again. Are we doing Pile of Shame reviews anytime soon? Yeah, probably. So there's a video. The video tomorrow is Pile of Shame. A Pile of Shame video. I haven't done one in a while. It's been like 7 months. And then I'll probably start doing the reviews again at some point. Heavy vehicle Death Guard versus all vehicles. Yeah, that's probably a tricky matchup in general, I think. Heavy vehicle, because basically it's vehicles versus vehicles, and their vehicles are better. You kind of have to get in their face. So there's Death Guard. That's quite difficult. What you need to do is spend all your money. True, that is true. But just do that and it's fine. Or just borrow them. I was talking about Screaming Ravens custom detachment stuff earlier, and I forgot where I was going with it. But long story short, I was thinking of having a very simple detachment, one DP detachment that just makes Centurions Phobos, and then you can just use them in Shadowpark. It's even worse. It'd be very funny. Probably completely broken, but very funny. So Void Dragon was an interesting choice. I think because they changed, like, Void Dragon out of all of the Catans is probably most fine. Yeah, they got nerfed in other places, and the Catan detachment is now a weird disposition. I like the disposition. I'm in hospital. Oh, that's simple. Planned I'm getting out tomorrow, but the doctor said it's unsure if I can. Wish me luck. Good luck. Yeah, definitely good luck. Hopefully you do all right. Sorry to hear you're not doing well. You're unwell. Hopefully you're okay. The internal balance CSM is awful. We're propped up by 4 epic heroes chosen in the Defiler. Yeah, the thing is, I reckon, like, if you remember back in London GT, like, the CSM list there was insane. Like, just a mishmash of bollocks. Still one. CSM is one of those armies that I think you'll be able to find something in there. Because there's still a lot of cool stuff in there, like Chosen, but you still have Possessed. You can make them work. I'm talking about my arse, I'll be honest. I found like CSM is one of those armies that just seems to be able to skate through, similar to Necrons, in that they just kind of are able to, like, they may dip a bit, but they'll find something. My friend playing DA and has since 11 switched to PT against my CSM kids. I run big boys only. This is just a bad matchup for him. It's 16-0. I don't know. Depends what his list is. Like, if he has some Repexes in there, they should be able to deal with some stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Making Dark Angels Saturnine Centurions. That's cool. How do you feel now that you know the games will change? It's nice to have confirmation. It's nice to know where we stand in the relationship between me and Games Workshop. It's either that they hate me or they don't know me at all, which is far more likely, and just nerf the stuff that was well and I was trying to use. Filthy bitch. But I like to believe that Games Workshop specifically wrote this attachment, this update, this data slate, with me in mind, despite the fact that absolutely they didn't. But, you know, for my ego, as a YouTuber, my ego is the most important thing in the world. It's how I live. Like, just being fueled by comments, subscribers, having a silver play button that I can go to people like, look, people somewhat respect me. They don't even know they do respect me. They watch, and they press a button. You should also press the subscribe button. But yeah, otherwise, I don't know. How are you? Are your nightmares with the lion going to 265 with that 3-up win button? The fact that fights first is not as good anymore makes me a lot happier, because it does mean that I can kill it. Not with any list I'm running right now, but if I'm ever, like, if the lion ever gets meta, I'm just going to throw Sixus on. That'll probably work. Saturn or second Armageddon? It really depends on what you need. Second Armageddon gets you a lot of stuff you probably don't care about. I mean, a second... Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there that you kind of probably don't love. A Saturn box is kind of cool. But also, if you're already making Saturn Centurions, you might have a Saturn box anyway, so... Sorry for late response, man, so shit. Changes to Starlink. Yeah, I had las cannons on them, but enemy had not vehicles, so... Box did a lot. That's fair. Did you manage to get, like, good lines with Uppy Downy? That's my problem at the moment that I've had with them. They've kind of been stuck in my deployment zone, just shooting from there, and then they get shot back. I definitely, if I'm playing the list I'm thinking about playing, need to just Uppy Downy them wherever and just... Well, the actual nerf Centurions, they went up by... It's 5 points per las cannon. So 30 points for a squadus. So it's gone for 350 to 380. Which is very expensive. You see the stream from Total War earlier? I did not, actually. But how many, thank you? Probably one of the few people. I don't respect myself. Yeah, perfect for Saturn Centurions, custom eradicate weapons. Yeah, that sounds fun. Well, you have my respect, thank you. If you want something absurd, look at the change they did for the various praetors, the custodians. What did they do? Versus praetors. They nerfed them. They added a thing for guns or something. Holding off till the codex on Saturn terminators, can't put hours into painting, then get legends the day after they're done. To be fair, here's the thing: if you build them as Saturnines, then you just pop them on a different base and make them Terminators or Gravis. Thing. You can turn them into Eradicators, just on a smaller base. Want card to priority assets and Ret card becomes BDP Purge. Painful. Ret card's the only option for Purge. To be fair, you probably don't want to play Purge anymore anyway. Priority assets is good. Purge got kind of nerfed, even though it wasn't very good. I think Purge is a bit of a trap. I would say priority assets is... I think priority assets is pretty good, because there's not even that many actions. And as Tau, you should have something. 355 to Gunnerman is crazy. I mean, Gunnerman's really good. I do think they probably over-nerfed the Ultramarines, but I think it's better to just kind of let them go away. Then when the Codex comes out, we'll see what happens. Not sure if it's likely or not, but I'm personally hoping that Fights First goes back to what it used to be as Fights First. Nah, I don't think so. Sorry, goes back to what it used to be as Fights Last. What do you mean? Like, if something has Fights First, the other thing has Fights Last? Is it not stronger for the Necrons now? Yeah, Precision is actually just insanely strong. In the new Orc War Boss Nazdrig. Yeah, he's awesome. So cool. Like, him and Wazdacker are just two models I kind of want. They're really cool. Also, I pointed that out yesterday when we went through the thing, but what was it? Venom Throats, I think? There's something Tyrannid that has a 6-foot aura because they typed it wrong, which is very funny. Just play Priority versus Takehold. Fun matchup. Yeah. Priority is the one I don't know much about. But it's the one that I know is quite good. Playing against Purge 111.9 should be 12.8, but I counted points wrong. Love how they killed the Combi Lieutenant the day after I got my hands on one. I think the Combi Lieutenant is still okay. It's just not an auto-include, which is fine. It just used to be... Like, when it was 70 points, it was basically like, if you don't take one, you're actually just trolling. Like, you're throwing the game, because they're so strong. At 85 points, they were like, yeah, they're still good. At 95 points, I'm like... I don't think I need one, but I could easily be persuaded to put one back in the list. For certain combos. He's still a little cheeky fucker with his reactive move, but he's still a bit too easy to get to now because of just how terrain works. He's still a little... He's still... I think you can still work with him. And also, you could just make him a Phobos Lieutenant or a Phobos Captain and just say he's a Phobos Captain and yeah. I mean, my Phobos Lieutenant is, I think, actually a regular Lieutenant, but I've used him as a Phobos Lieutenant and a Phobos Captain before because no one. But it's a unit with this ability was charged. The charging unit and had to fight second. That's basically how it was. Well, yeah, I don't know, because then because if you're charged, you have fights first and fights last, and I guess it overrides. I think that's probably, I don't know. I think fights first now is fine because it was too strong in 10th. Like it basically just meant like the Lion is a great example of just you can't charge the Lion unless you're charging him with everything. Or even my Blade Guard, you can't charge my Blade, and they're just a big block that you can't do anything about. That is the main problem. If precision is good, does that mean Leggy Boy is meta? Maybe. Probably more meta. I mean, he's still pretty good anyway, even before that. I think low volume precision is about the same as it was before. High volume precision is where things get really good. So the Shadowmark Talon, with the Laylo the Tyrant is like the that's the big thing. That's the that's where it happens. That's where it becomes nice, because then suddenly you have a lot of attacks that will pretty much guarantee to kill the character. Is there a replacement for the Combat Lieutenant on your list? I basically just removed. I think I just put curses in there. I'm still thinking about putting it back in. I'm also thinking about putting a captain in. Maybe getting a jump captain in there with either Blade Driven Deep or the Deep Strike Turn 1. I don't know. Difficult. It's difficult writing lists, you know. I've run 3 games with priority season tracker points. That's good. Imagine if 40k removed the ability to do pre-measuring. That'd be interesting, but I think what would basically happen is it just becomes a case of it'd speed up the game, but then you just have to get good at kind of guessing. But not even that. What you do is you just kind of use the, you know, the measurements of the terrain. You just use that. And if you care, but I'm like a small creator, got 1,000 views on one video, which is generally crazy. Yeah, I can definitely relate. When I was first starting, like having a video suddenly get 800 views, and I'm like, whoa, this is, and then one gets like 2,000, and it starts to snowball. But it's really good. That's really good work. Like, yeah. My advice is basically don't keep looking back at those big ones. Just keep moving forward. And also, one thing I like to do is remind myself, like sometimes let's say a video doesn't do as well. It's like, because you know on YouTube it says like, oh, this is like an 8 out of 10 video. What I like to do is remind myself what it was like a year ago, and I'm looking at it going, okay, so this video got in 24 hours 50,000 views. A year ago, a video would be insane if it did that. Now it's like normal. Like things will gradually go up. You have to kind of go with the ebb and flow of YouTube. GW drops this update the day before list submission and ruined my T-Sons list for my last GT in my home city. Personal. Yeah, I think with that one, like if I was the TO in that situation, I'd be like, okay, we're using the old, because no one wants like a day to get around. At least Centurions won't throw it into Legends. No, which is good. I've 2 armies, never played a tabletop war game. How would you recommend I start? 1,000 points to my local GW. I would recommend finding a local group. Maybe not doesn't have to be at your GW. Just a local group. See if anyone there would be happy to play with you. Try not to find someone who's gonna just want to be someone who's doing something, but yeah, finding a good community. Maybe even try and go to like a tournament. You don't have to go as like a player. Just kind of go as a spectator just to get in there, I guess. Like, I don't know. Casual Lottery, thank you for the $1. Thank you much. I saw the stream title and my heart dropped. Yeah, I dropped to my knees in Sainsbury's. Started weeping openly. It's all gone wrong. In order to Warhammer no pre-measuring in you just kind of get good at judging distance, use terrain and table itself as a reference. Yeah, I mean that would just be a new skill, right? Leo's Vicar, thank you again for becoming a member.
And praise the GW gods, my Bane sword is 35 pints lower. Fuck the Rogel Dawn, not the Primac. Now just give me Bane Blade for Yarrick.
Yarrick Bane Blade, thank you for the 17 months, in fact. All is bad at influencing GW's bad team, or I'm very good at influencing. I think pre-measuring is fine. I don't do it that much. That's like the one part of my game where I'm just like, sometimes I just can't be asked. I'm just like, yeah, it's about that. And that usually bites me in the. But a lot of the time, I'm just like, yeah, that looks fun. The same reaction as Templar with Repex nerf, stop work ending, just kicking the nuts. Yeah, I mean, Repex is just keep going up, which is a bit wild. But then also the Land Raider Redeemer didn't go up. Land Raider Redeemer is absurd. I don't know why. I tried fitting one in a list, it just didn't quite work. I was speaking to Toby about this. I made a list with like a Redeemer and stuff. He was like, no, just no hammers, all jump, no hammer. It's basically my list right now. Got told the new update would apply, just annoyed because I spent the last 2 months working on defining it got used that. That's unfortunate. I think the second time reps is still probably pretty good, but you just can't use that combo of detachments. And defilers are probably still fine. You just have to take something else out, which is a bit of a shame. I think defilers just aren't the win button anymore. The problem with 11th for me is a lot of the terrain traps Baneblades in the backline. Ruins are literally too closely spaced for them to go anywhere. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Because you got to remember that you can go through some parts. Let me have a look at the. Because if the area of a ruin is low enough, you can just drive. Like you won't be able to get down the edges of a ball, sure, but you can definitely get into the midboard. Although I don't know if there is a specific one with that. Maybe that's not true. My main good on Bane Sword is Ignores Cover. Ignores Cover is always very good. Would you ever make a custom subchapter for other Space Marine factions, i.e. Dark Angel success? I mean, I could think about it, but like... but probably not. I mean, to be fair, even my success chapter is just Raven Guard's successor because I like Raven Guard. It probably has nothing really to do with Raven Guard. I don't know enough about him. I play a double Baneblade list. If you can use the terrain as shown in the map, they can get through light terrain easy. Yeah, there probably is one which is like rough. Probably one of the corner ones. Unless you have Icarus, unless you have a example on hand that I can look at. Well, that one should be fine. Park it there. Realistically, you're getting to like the mid-board. You're not really getting beyond there. Go to be guard player now that you take 5 Blamelades in one list? No. Probably do the dislike playing against the most. I say this every time. It's not necessarily the army. It's the player. I've not had a... There's not one army I'm like, oh god. I guess the only one would be Knights, but not because I don't like playing against Knights. It's because it's a very, very different game for me. Like in my head, I just feel like Knights... I just don't do very well against Knights. Am I going to do Dawn of War for Total War Warhammer 40k streams? Probably. No. Garnisting a little bit of light from our bottomless pit. What do you mean bottomless pit despair? You're A tier. You're an A tier army. I don't know why you're... I don't know what this bottomless pit despair is. Like, on your high horse in A tier. That's crazy talk. You're an A tier army. I don't know what the problem is. I was tempted to do a video where I do a tier list and just I do like loads of quickfire tier lists, but the joke is that guard are always A tier. Don't have to get recorded. That's fair enough. Yeah, we're just kind of scrolling through just to see if there's any like jump out as like, oh, Baneblade would be difficult. I think it's mostly because a lot of the L's are comprised of 2 of the bits with the yellow rain. That one's probably not the best. Purge versus Purge layout C. That one's probably a bit difficult. Can't get very far, but then you don't really need. It depends on what you've got on your Baneblade. If you've got big gun, you can poke out and it'll be fine. Seen the Helldivers X Warhammer teaser today? I saw that it came out, but I haven't looked. I was just like playing against knights. I don't like how different they are playing against other armies. I mean, the thing is, like, if you get better at the game, it stops being different. But my problem is I'm not good at the game, and so I always go, oh, how am I going to kill these knights? I'm not, even though you have to. Kind of sometimes, I don't know. Also, an oath going away possibly. That would be weird and it'd be weird. Everyone just gets Gladius. Feels like it'd be fine for me, I guess, because if I'm allowed to continue doing that Vengeful Host, then I just get rerolls anyway, or I just play 4 Centurions and get rerolls to hit. Fine. Things are not intended to go to tournament like ever. Is there a reason why I shouldn't be buying Legends model, like Tarantula Battery for? I don't know how much they are, but I mean, no. If you're in a position to just play Legends, you can play. And even so, you could probably proxy them. Careful, guard Reddit will ban you too. I know, right? Alright, I've already been on the guard Reddit a couple of times. A friend of mine showed me a post where someone was like, it was when I released the I don't like guard video, and so I was like, oh, guard haters, and most of the comments were, this is Porter's ballot stuff, he's just shit posting. It's fine, it's not that deep, which is good. I'm glad people, at least, I think the guard subreddit recognized that I am just shit posting. I'm just bantering. Funny. Just Beyblade, so it's got heaps of extra nonsense glued on. But I think it will really affect the footprint. Oh yeah, you just don't worry about that. Just say we're not gonna worry about it. Have you been coping with the heat waves with the bold noggin? It's not been great. It's actually been okay like this past week. It's been good enough. But before that, it was rough, man. I just get better. Yeah, just skill issue. Well, buy cool random looking stuff. Think buy cool looking stuff. Oath going away is better design. I think so. I mean, Oath is an interesting one because obviously the rerolls and the +1 to wound basically it's just a I'm going to kill you button. But it only works on 1, and a lot of lists are basically the way a lot of Space Marine lists work is how do I make sure that I'm not reliant on Oath? Because if I have too many things that are reliant on Oath, I can't get full value. So that going away basically supports how people make Space Marine lists, you see what I mean? Like, for example, Centurions don't really need Oath. But before Vengeful Host, where is it? Incursors kind of did. Or sorry, Inceptors kind of needed it. And Shrike Bomb kind of needed it. So you're double dipping there. If you're having 1 turn advanced charge just helps when you don't have it in the attachment. Yeah, pretty much. Like it just everything becomes Gladius plus, which feels a bit weird. Obviously, it's Gladius without the stratagems. I think some of the nerfs are based on the room and Space Marine changes, like Tactics Armor going to T5. I feel like here's my thought on that, right? So I've heard that Tacticus goes to T5, like Phobos has 8-inch move. I feel like unless they have some sort of... Well, they'll get point increases, obviously. So maybe they're trying to just reduce the number of models on the table. But I feel like unless every army is going to get some sort of mini rework like that, having that come out each codex is going to feel really weird. Don't forget about the UK heatwave. My area of Texas feels like 120 yesterday. Yeah, but also that's Texas. We're the UK. We're not meant to have this shit. The 49 degrees C is absolutely abysmal. That shouldn't happen anywhere. But also the humidity. That's usually the other excuse. Or is it normal that we only have 40 dudes in the live? On Twitch, this is actually higher than normal. Over on YouTube, there's 267. So it's mostly because it's mostly at YouTube. Oath isn't very thematic as Doctrine's id. Doctrine makes machines play a little bit like I'd expect them to do. They're adaptable situation. Yeah, that is true. Oath is definitely one of those ones that is just kind of a weird... Yeah, Oath of Moment is definitely not very... It's just a way to get... And it's also had to come with all the caveats, like if you're playing Blood Angels or Space Wolves, blah, 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 blah. You can't get the bonus bit because the blah, 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 blah. Animals are a pain in the ass because half the units could care less about... Exactly right. Like, the... Like, having Vulcan be able to just give you wound rerolls and then have dev wounds on Flamers. Like, so you just ignore the hitting. Yeah, that's basically why Salamanders are really good right now. It's because they can just ignore Oath. And the one unit you wanted to use Oath on was the Stern Guard, which got... which you might probably still use, to be fair. Like, I reckon there's still room for a Stern Guard brick. You're just not using it to go... You just can't use it as a thing to kill vehicles anymore. Or was it more... design space with the non-coded chapters? Yeah, true. I think Oath going and being replaced with Doctrines is fine. Because that's basically how it was in 9th, right? Talk about Primarch or Heaston? Vulcan Heaston. Vulcan Heaston is insane. Already a change that can happen with Codex released over 2 years. I mean, that's the thing, right? Unless... Like, because I've heard, obviously, that one of the other rumors is around Centurions, right? Where, not Centurion. Custodies. Where Custodies go... basically become one-man armies, which is what they should be in like lore, like thematically, right? Obviously, it makes like in a vacuum, you're basically have to compare old Space Marine to new Space Marine, and they're going to have to be comparable power-wise. Which means actually, if they release them at Codex over time, that's fine. But it basically means, yeah, like. For example, if the intent is that... No, I'm thinking about this and kind of getting my own argument undone, right? Because if their Tacticus goes to T5, if they were intending all the strengths to go up, then what's the point? Like, obviously they want Tacticus to be less, like, more durable, but probably less of them. But then, to the point of the Conurian, or the Conurian, Chaos are then T4. But is that because they're going to go somewhere else with Chaos? I don't know. It's all a bit... Really hate the nerfs to our Defiler's ability. I think you're probably... Like, in the long run, your Defilers are going to... It's going to be better for the Defilers. Because they were just too strong. Both isn't super good army rule, but counterpoint, it can be very funny to roll 6 attacks on the line and end up hitting your enemy 20 times. Yeah. I mean, I've got Bolter Inceptors. I fire 15 shots, I hit 25 times. Whoops. Oath would be better as attachment. What they probably would do is probably swap Gladius, so Gladius gets Oath instead of... Like, but not +1 to Wound Oath. Also getting a bunch of buffs to our base date sheet, wouldn't mind SM262. Right, here's my hot take. I'm coming in with a hot take. You can all get mad at me and yell at me, but if you do... That's funny. I think the new Orc date sheet is absolutely fine, and I actually really like it. It's not that complicated. It's really not that complicated. And I think people who are worried about... Like, there is a potential valid concern about the rules. But I think if they want to make battle line more appealing, that's the way to do it. Make your battle line really, like, thematically good and interesting with potentially up to 3... like abilities, even though one of them is once per game or whatever. Like, that makes sense. All your other date sheets probably will only still have one. Like, think about it right now. Centurions have one ability, and it's just rerolls. Inceptors have one ability, and it's deep striking 6. Incursors have abilities, but one of them's a war gear, so I guess it doesn't count. Stuff like infiltrators, I think, should lose their like other things, or just have that baked in. Like, don't have to get a war gear thing for the feel no pain. Just give them a feel no pain. And then that becomes stuff with the guard battle line, right? Now the guard battle line actually will have loads of stuff and make them the guard battle line. Then all of the other things have like one, right? Bit assault assessors jetpacks are only 20 points more than storm boys for the same number of troops. Yeah, it's one of those things that in a vacuum it's a bit different. We're losing Oath. Does that mean first coming task force will gain a good main rule? I think if we lose Oath, I'm pretty sure all of the detachments will change. D4 feels really squishy in 11th. Yeah, that's the thing. Melee S went up, but range S didn't go for nerfing ranged. I mean, that's fair. I mean, orc range should still be like just cat shot, right? Would Warhammer 40k feel better game if GW had community managers that interact with the players like big video game companies does? No, because I've seen what happens to those community managers with those big video game companies. And I'm pretty sure that's what happened, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like back in 6th or something, they had a guy who basically just got like death threats because he had a name attached to the person doing the rules. Yeah, you don't want that. The problem is, I think it's just like the internet is just not like the community is just, the majority of the community is fine. Like, you can go up to those people at a tournament, but they don't need to be interacting on the internet. It's a bit what's the TLDR? Haven't been following orcs. Basically, they can action in melee, they get lethals when they charge, and once per game they get +1 attack on shooting, I believe. Which is pretty cool. I said don't even become T6 or 7. I don't think they will. I think they'll. I think it's just Space Marines. But Space Marines would go up, you get less of them. Like an Intercessor squad isn't going to be 80 points. That'll be the difference. Did I miss Paul crashing out without Centurions? I'm always crashing out without Centurions. That's my secret. The third guy got caught rigging rules for sales. No idea how true that is, but maybe people say that about now, and then realize that half of the releases that GW makes are shit and the other half are fine. Obviously, towards the end of 11th, like towards the end of 10th, they were releasing a lot of very, very good units, which were a bit silly. But then they also did stuff like Lord Marshal Dryer. Anything. But yeah, like, make the battle line really interesting and thematic and different. And then people will be inclined to take them. And then most other things just have one. Or things like, for example, Drukhari Raiders having like 4 rules is fun because it does like allow them to, because they're very, very core. Like the core stuff like that should have loads of stuff. I mean, Matt Wall got death threats, so fluff not really as rules. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Like getting death threats was. He's going up in S and T will, funny enough, make him feel more like custodian now. Losing a unit hurts more, but each unit is capable. I think that's possibly like the intention, right? And the custodians go up a level above that. Our line should be more interesting to be able to do more. Yeah, exactly. So I think the new orc battle line is really, really good. I think people were potentially worried about it because orc boys were very, very good anyway. But now that Green Tide is 3 detachment points, it's a bit. Lord Marshal, the word dry sounds like threesome in German. That's very funny. It's quite funny because in my in tomorrow's video I talk about Lord Marshal Dryer, and he was actually used in 2 winning guard lists, so it's completely outdated information, but funny. They should make it first Marines battle line for Forge Fathers. I want to run a full army of flamers. No, they absolutely shouldn't, because that would be absurd. Infernus Marines are already very, very good. 30 Infernus Marines and Forge Fathers is insane. You don't need 60. Honestly. Insane. It's insane how much Vulcan Heaston does more than Sharn. Sharn gives you like up and down for free. And Shrike gives the APIs to OC. Vulcan on his own and Forge Father Seekers gets Infernus Marines can shoot an action or advance an action. I don't know if they go up to OC2. Vulcan can also have 11 OC and can give wound rerolls. 30 Infernus is enough. 30 Infernus and 2 Redeemers, you're laughing. Vulcan. Consider power units of 2 models, they all feel like current units. Yeah, people wanted less stuff on the table. I think this is the way to do it. And then your armies that currently have lots of stuff, like Jesus Cults now, feel like they are more, which I think is good. Sorry, yeah, 10 OC. You're right, 10 OC. But it's 10 OC plus a Lander Redeem next to him. And it's pseudo lone op because you just give him hidden. It's very, very silly. Vulcan is cheaper and better than both Shrike and Sharn put together. And to be fair, Shrike and Sharn, very, very good. But Vulcan is just insane. And he didn't get nerfed, which I don't understand. It's weird because I'm salty because I won with the list. And I'm just looking at it going, I don't know how I beat it. The problem I see is how long it takes some factions to get codex until they will feel like they get... Well, this is what I'm thinking, is... It shouldn't feel like it left behind. Because you have to consider that if Space Marines get all the buffs that are being assumed, they would have to be comparable to current Space Marines. Like, a current Space Marine list with T4 and whatever would have to be able to go toe-to-toe with Space Marine list that's T5. We'll see how it goes. Popping in for a quick hello, but I hope the stream goes okay. Thank you very much, like man. Things are going alright for you. Will Flamers lose random shots like with the Orcs? That would be interesting. I think that would be kind of fun. It makes Flamers better into the things that Flamers should be better into. Like, it stops you being able to spike when trying to shoot them at a tank. But if you shoot them at 20 Tyranids, they will get set on fire. I saw the points of of writing for you, especially. Thank you. I'm glad you... hope you got something good out of the riots. Glad you just joined Leagues of Votan. I'm still thinking the Centurions are okay. It's just they're a little bit on the cusp. I mean, they used to be 370. Then they got buffed. They got nerfed. They're like 360 before. 380 isn't third. And it's still 300 for the Assault Centurion. Basically, you can build most armies of Horde Elite willing to skew hard enough. Yeah, I think that's probably where the rumors are kind of going. Where something like Space Marines won't be able to hoard as much. I think it's good if it's better for the balance and theme. Marines are way too easy to get huge numbers. Yeah, that is the problem. And I think it would. I think it will be okay. Realistically, Vulcan needs to be 100 points again. Yeah, I don't know why he's 85. He's cheaper than a Phobos, a combi lieutenant, which is wild. But yeah, I need to practice. I need to. What I'm gonna like the person I played against in this tournament that Toby's running. I'm gonna see if he wants another game, and I'm gonna try my new list. So I need to submit it for some stuff. I'm umming and ahhing with a few bits and bobs, so I need to test it out. Like, I don't know if 3x5 Vanguard vets good, or if I should go with 1x10 and 1x5. I don't know if 3 lots of Inceptors is too much. I don't know if the dev sets are going to be okay. I don't know if having the chaplain with Orcsbane is a bit over the top. I don't know. Yeah. But it's up to 110 points. Yeah. Oof. We swung around with Fire Strike server turrets. That is interesting. Like the I was looking at the. I was thinking about the orbital. I had an idea for it. DP definitely a better way to balance rather than cost abilities. That is true. Yeah, the fact that they made a lot of changes to dispositions is, I quite like that. It means that, yeah, the fact that they changed. Well, it's interesting because obviously they changed the Salamanders ones to priority instead of purge, but I played it as recon and it was absolutely fine. So just continue to play as a recon. When's the next tournament? I have a teams tournament in August. I'm currently in an online teams tournament that Toby's running, like a fun thing. That's like the rounds take a week plus, which has been a lot of fun. Like, it's nice that there's been a lot of people getting involved in that. Very cool. And there's another thing I'm looking at. I haven't gone to any solo tournament yet, but I will do soon. Maybe in August. I'm going to London GT actually, but I don't want that to be like my first 11th. For a while, dedicated transport list was viable. Yeah, I know. I prefer the fact that it still is bad. It's a lot better. Also, change the disposition matchup maps was good. Yeah, the fact that they split out the Purge ones is quite nice, but I am wondering if maybe Purge is going to be a bit weak now. But I think that's fine. I think Purge having like a low skill floor and a low skill ceiling is probably fun. More on brand, the detachment named X Seekers are doing actions and looking for stuff. I mean, Forge Father Seekers could be seeking people to set on fire. That's still seeking. I think Paul is just a Tau player disguised as a Space Marine player, but I can't prove it. I mean, if you saw my current list, you wouldn't be saying that. It's got mostly melee jump packs. Doing my first RTT in August. Hell yeah. Iron Warriors. Look, first in RTT earlier this month. Hell yeah. 3 days later, my list was on YouTube channel. Baseballs. Awesome. Great job. Yeah, I've never come close to anywhere near the top. My best result has been a 3-2. I've done that once. Once? Yeah, I had a 3-2-1. And every other time I've been below 50%. I think how they did it is silly. People build lists around them, and now a lot of people have Purge. I mean, yes and no. I think, like with anything, if it got nerfed in a different way, like in 10th, you would have to rebuild it. I think each chapter should have 2 dispositions. I don't think so. I think the way... Well, to be fair, if you want a second disposition, you take a 1TP or 1DP. I think having 2 dispositions each just basically means you will pick the better one every time. Like, there's not, like... Having... Like, one of the balance levers they can pull is the disposition. Like, that is how... Like, again, Forge Father Seekers is a good example. Like, people went, oh, I can't play it with Purge anymore, but you can just play it with Recon and it's fine. And I imagine priority assets is probably still fine. I want TP gives you priority over disruption. This is the other thing. You've got to make sure you're playing. You are building for your disposition. I think because I was reading some on I think I was on the Raven Guard Reddit, and someone was like, I'm struggling with taking hold, and their list was a recon list. They were taking their Raven Guard recon list, and it's like, you can't do that. You have to play for take and hold. My list does play for take and hold, but it's a lot more of the take part than the hold part. 3-point detachments should have a second disposition. 2 take a second. No, I think the point of having a 3-point detachment is that you have to play into that disposition. Because if they gave you 2 options, that's just... And here's the other thing. If they gave you 2 options, you don't like either of them, then it's the same situation. You need to play within that disposition. That's one of the balance levers thing. Detachment less than first Marines advance in action should probably be the action disposition. True. Playing Anvil Siege Force until the day they take it from a culted hands. True. Well, this is just things I like. Well, there you go, right? Like, it's one of those things where if you're taking stuff that you like, that's fine, but you just have to be cognizant of the fact that if the stuff you like isn't going to work with your disposition, you're going to have to find a way to find that disposition elsewhere, or wing it. To be fair, also, something I've learned is I say to be fair far too often. So to be fair, I'm going to stop saying to be fair. But no, the one thing you can do is just make it so sure that the stuff you like kill stuff, because any of the dispositions can just be purge the foe if you just kill everyone and then do the actions after. Really DP? We're not doing this. I discussed in the video. It's a 2-letter acronym. There's only so many letters that can go before a P for points that, you know, it's just gonna have to be like that. 24 came across your pile of shame videos recently. Thankfully, I don't feel so bad about mine. There's a new one tomorrow, hopefully. New pile of shame video tomorrow with the other ones. So that. GG were very heavy-handed this balance patch. A lot of chaos seems to be a very bad spot. Note my bias as a 1000 Suns player. At the Pyre Blasters for Heresy. I think I said this earlier. Thousand Suns is one of the armies that whatever nerfs they get, they're just gonna be. There's gonna be something there. People are gonna work out some wild shit with Thousand Suns. It's also fine that it's heavy-handed because they are doing them monthly. So it's only been a month. There's a lot of like, I don't think I would be worried about the strength of your army until 3 months in it, because so much there's gonna be so much change and so much to work out. I think it's just gonna be you have to ride the wave, which is why I'm not playing that much Warhammer right now. I'm just kind of like going with the flow until it's a bit more stable. To be fair, it's a useful phrase to start a sentence. True, but to be fair, I said when I was editing my Pile of Shame video for this week, I sometimes said to be fair something, like just constant to be fair. Why points? What about counters? Detachment counters. That makes no sense. Points mean prizes. We love points in this house. When you put in the Centurions away and finally move on to aggressors? Currently, I'm not. Although aggressors do seem pretty good. Aggressors seem like they might be okay now with their points buffs. I think they're already seeing some play in Salamander. But Centurions just do a different thing to aggressors. To be fair, you're trying to be fair. It's only fair. It is only fair to be fair. I do want to do another stream where I try not to say like to be fair, because it is a very. I think what I might do a stream where I talk normally and just have something that's counting up in the background how many times I say like and to be fair, and then try and beat that record, as in get lower. Working on a Shadow Mark list, and I'm not sure about the Combi Lieutenant. Is it worth 95 points, especially because Coronal Sorcerer attacks on 30 points extra? I don't think you need Coronal Sorcerer anymore, honestly. Or if you're going to have Coronal Sorcerer, put it on something else. Combi Lieutenant is worth it for a different reason. Worth it for its reactive move and its thing. And the fact that it's the difference between that and a Cadet Assassin is a Phobos that you can uppy downy with another Phobos. I think it's 95 points is the point where it can. It doesn't have to auto, which I think is I go probably 90 points. Still be okay. 95 is fine. 100, I think it becomes. I've seen the new boys weapon stat line Blast 4. Which weapon has Blast 4? I saw the Orc thing. Had Blast 4. Weapon has Blast 4. The 85 was still a bit too cheap, maybe. 70 was insane. Don't know how it was 70 points. Where is the Orc? Here it is. Last one torrent. Last one. I'm only seeing a Blast 2. Find. The D3 torrent Blast. Well, torrents don't have any. Are you sure? The burner. No, the burner is Blast 1 torrent. 3 attacks though. Maybe it was before. Maybe they've changed it. Not on the latest one. Hope GW give you a Tushan chapter master for the Salamanders. That'll be fun. Boys shooting profile don't lose their other rain weapons too. You know how I was thinking about doing 30 Wolf God Dominate list? I now have this that's 44. Hell yeah. That sounds fun. I assume you'd want to be taking hold. Just walk onto the objectives and go, okay, I've taken them, I'm holding them, you gotta stop me. Getting ready to face Combi Man out of my list with his... Like, yeah, I think he is now... You have to kind of think about him more. If you can get him in a position where he can start offing something up, like specifically, then he's more worth it. Like where his wound ones, like for example, Grav Cannon Centurions, because they're anti-vehicle 2+, getting wound rerolls of 1 basically gives them twin linked. So that's suddenly like multiplying the power of that unit. So anything around there would be quite interesting. Probably going at 20% in points. I think that would be fun. Having Custodians go up a bit. Makes sense. Are you sticking with Librarius Conclave or pivoting to Vengeful Host? I'm pivoting to Vengeful Host. Librarius Conclave was just there because Librarius Conclave was basically the one for me. The Phobos one didn't have enough, and the land speed. Vengeful Host basically just plays into my game plan anyway. Very cool. Did last cannon price increase buff Grav Cannons for Centurions, or is it still an inferior? It's no longer Grav Cannons. I think Grav Cannons are okay. In an 11th world where AP1 matters, maybe you could see them, but I think in Shadowmark, if you can get to AP2, my worry is it's their range, 24-inch range, so short. Like how you getting that in and then against other things, you're potentially winning on 3s anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like last cannon ones are still good, but I do think there is room for some Grav Cannons. You wouldn't take the bolters. If you wanted bolters or heavy bolters, just take the Eradicators. When Assault Terminators have an ancient and plus OC upgrade, so it's 33 OC for that unit. Oof. I was looking at ancients, some stuff as well. Assault Terminators as well. Missing out on anti-monster might be too much though. Plenty of factions that rock that keyword. Yeah, that's the other thing. Lack of anti-monster. You're basically hoping that you only play against tanks or against vehicles. While last cannons are universal. Just got here where we at. We're at an hour in. But why wouldn't you just take a Callous Assassin instead of Combat Lieutenant? A couple of reasons. One, you still have the reactive move. 2, it's a Phobos unit, so it works a lot with the Shadowmark Talon stuff. If you're playing Shadowmark Talon. 3, agents aren't real and they can't hurt you, so they don't exist. 4, reactive moves are still very good. Never feel no pain. So there is still a case for Combat Lieutenant over a Callous Assassin. Especially in Shadowmark. But they split out the Assault Terminators in 2 data sheets, one for balls, one for hammers. I'm not sure why they would. I think they're fine as they are with the points. You're basically going, do I want a cheaper stabbier one or a more expensive tankier one? Essentially the thing. I think it's so said that Farsight is less than 100 points. He should be getting buffs instead of point decreases. I imagine because, again, this is like because of the monthly thing, they're probably just putting nothing in, but they'll change them at some point. Recently cleaned, reorganized my workroom, and I have both more and fewer untouched boxes than I thought. This Repex went up by 24 points, so I only have 1. The Repex was pretty cheap. It does suck, but also Repex is an ass. I'm more concerned with the fact that Redeemers didn't. My Shadowmark list increased a whopping 110 points. Yeah, mine went up a lot, but a lot of it was. But how much? Fair. A lot of it was Centurions, but then most of the rest of it was. Well, some of the rest of it was Librarian stuff and Stern Guard, and then the rest was Vanguards. But bear in mind that Vanguard veterans are very, very good now. I don't see a world where I'm taking any with shields than the old weapon. I think you just give them a big hammer, like in this case, sword. You just go 5-2-2 with the Mastercrafted, and then they're just a fast, hard-hitting Mastercrafted thing. So a favorite matchup? Nah. It's against a player more than an army. My favorite matchup is the ones I win. only have one Gravis. I have only Gravis models. The current list has 30 heavy intercessors at its core, and then some Radicators and Aggressors, and then Dreadnoughts and tanks. That is a fun army. That's a very cool army. Probably pretty good as well. I would see that as being a decent army. I would being a sort of betting-based man. Maybe I'm not. A betting man. Our aggressors just baby Centurions. I don't know. They're more like. I don't know. They're weird because they don't have like big weapons on their wrists. I guess they are. I guess they're the evolution from like Terminator to Gravis to Aggressor to Centurion. Gravis is underrepresented. To be fair, again, if you like Gravis, the heavy bolter Eradicators are really good. The one on the battle barn is posting lies. I can't find a real blastful burner. That's the battle barn. They lie all the time. Eddie is a scoundrel. Absolute scoundrel. You should tell him he is an absolute. You like the land speeder? I do. I think it's cool. I have it undercoated. I was going to use it and I'm not. I want at least 6 of the heavy bolter guys. Yeah, they are like in the game I played with. I had 2 lots of 3. They killed 2 spawn, Araman and 3 Bogoats, most of the squad of rubrics with a character, and something else. And they were only 70 points at the time. Now they're only 80. They're still cheap. Eddie didn't do it, but I'll tell him he is an absolute. Thank you. Even if Eddie didn't do it, he still did it. It's still his fault. So I would still blame him. No detachment for Gravis or Walkers is wild, unlike Vets, Phobos, and tanks. I mean, any of the heavier detachments work well with Gravis. Like, thing is, Gravis is like a universal one, right? And it's not a Terminator one either, right? Like, Phobos has one, Librarians have one, tanks have a couple. I mean, I guess there's the Terminator ones, like, there's probably a couple that are kind of Terminator-y. It's like one bike one. Gravis probably will get detachment in the what you call it, the Codex, but also Gravis just kind of fits everywhere. Yeah, the first company task force Emperor's Shields ones are Terminated, but they're not great. And again, Terminators can kind of appear anywhere. What's the favorite unit that has been revealed? The that new orc guy, Nazdrag. He's super. Like him. The new, because they showed, whether accidentally or not, they did show the what do you call it? What do you call them? The new Custodes Terminators, the Alarus Terminators, that are like taller and stuff. Maybe they just make Gravis a little bit more durable with either 5+ or like a Feel No Pain. I don't think they. Yeah, that's the interesting one, right? Like, if they get a 5+ invuln, I think they're just too tanky. The fact that they're T6 is their thing. I quite like that they have that higher toughness, lower save. It's the same with Repexes because they're 3-up, no invuln, but still T12. Magic had a koi from the art, too bad it's modeling. I think that's fine. Like, art is art, right? It's easier to put something on art than it is on. Normal Space Marine Terminators are 4 wounds, BK Summons are 3 wounds, lower 2. Well, no, normal Space Marine Terminators are 3 wounds as well. It's only when you get the shield you get 4 wounds. But regular Terminators and Terminators with lightning claws, which are the same as Dreadnought Terminators. You have AP2 Stormbolters with Empress Georgian Live Conclave at least. Yeah. An AP is a lot better. If they bring Vulcan Houston to 100 to 110, they've got to give him Lance. Vulcan. If Vulcan goes to 100, he is still auto take for Talon. It's absurd how broken he is. He's not like, I'm saying broken, that's a bit hyperbolic, but he is super. The fact that he's 85 and Shan and Striker 100 is because even his melee weapon's not even that bad. Like it's basically just very slightly worse than Striker and Shan. But he gets dev wounds on. But the fact that he can just give something wound rolls and 10 OC for a single model is not so. Team die too easily whenever they don't have any shenanigans. They were being attacked this off. I think they've already moved away from them being a Terminator replacement. They're very much a different. And if the way that the potential Space Marine codex is going with the rumors, then it might be that they are just tougher. There's a Deathwatch plan. I'm jealous of their Terminators. Yeah. They only get it the shields, and the shields cost 5 points. Once they need to up the damage or toughness of the Terminators. I think at the moment they're okay. Like they're used in a lot of lists now. Like, I think they're in an okay place. Do shepherds have different points cost for certain units now? Yes. Yeah, and some detachments cost more as well, which is good. It just means that you can have it's better that way. It just means you can have more granularity, which is fun. I like. A lot easier to deal with at that point. Like, it is warm. It's getting warm in here. Getting warm for anyone else? What are the rumors about the Codex? Base Marines go up to T5. And I think one of the other ones was... I saw Phobos go up to movement of 8, maybe? I don't know. Again, these are rumors. There's no set in stone. Terminator should get a special rule to ignore AP3 or less. Why? Sounds absurd. But they already ignore AP3 or more. What was the source of that? I can't remember the source. But bear in mind, the idea behind it is that they're going to be obviously worth way more points. So, like, rather than having, you know, a squad of 10 intercessors now costs the same as a squad of 5 in the update. Is the assumption, but I don't know. Again, it could be someone bullshit. Terminator Swordbots have AP1 instead of AP0. That one's interesting. I don't know. But the thing is, AP1 now is very, 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 very short. Like, back in 10th, AP1 and AP0 were basically the same. AP1 will change a lot about it. I think it's probably fine that they're AP0. It becomes just a lot of shots. Go to 6-man blade guys for 5-man turn. The terms are stronger. Yeah. Yeah, I think the idea is like they're going to move towards having Space Marines feel more Space Marine-y, and then work at like get that into a better position, which will be interesting. Rumors can never be wrong. They are only a based improvement fact. True. That's why they're called rumors. It's short for remarkably or erect. I don't know. Well, there's something in there. Do you think tennis testers with Lieutenant and Bastion is pretty scary? Yeah. One problem with that. I played against tennis testers with, I think it was a Lieutenant for the lethal hits and stuff. Someone played it against me. And yeah, it does a lot of damage and then dies. Which isn't great. I feel like I can paint whatever I want without thinking what's good at the moment. I mean, you could do that anyway, right? Yes, I know what you mean. I undercoded a load of stuff that I'm not going to paint now. Well, we'll paint it eventually. But I need to focus on this. Remarkably unbelievable, meaningful, observant, reliable statements. There you go. Got there in the end. Do I play Kill Team? I don't. I have played Kill Team, the second version. Played. I have the voice in my head as I'm painting something that is not good at all. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you gotta try and stop that. Stop that voice. I know it's difficult. So I'm guilty of the same thing. Like the idea of each armor type getting a built-in rule. I guess the thing is with like that, right? It's kind of their stats are the built-in rule. So Terminators are T5 2 up 4. Gravis is T6 3 up. Like that's their built-in rule. You know what I mean? Roman does give the Vincent's 4 up invuln. Yeah, that's true. And 4 up Fun and Pain against Psychic, which might be less relevant now that Thousand Suns aren't as good, but my god, is that tasty. What armies do you play other than Space Marines? I haven't played a different army in a long time, but the other ones that I've got enough models on that I could play an army are Drukhari and Thousand. Which is a really stupid idea for starting to play the game. Oh, my first army, I'll play Drukhari. That's nice and easy. What should I do for my second army? Thousand Suns. No wonder I ended up playing Space Marines, because they're way easier to play and paint. Oh dear. The minutes used to be about armor that even plasma wouldn't crack. Yeah, now you just shoot them, which is fair. I mean, I think that's the whole idea behind the Space Marine movers, is it becomes more like that, where it becomes tougher to kill a Terminator. Terminators become scary again. Building an Iron Warrior army now, and I'm thinking of making a Havoc squad with Reaper chain cannons. 4x8 attack, strength 5, AP 0. What are your 4x8? That. I mean, you can also then Dark Pact it, right? For stuff like Lethal's sustained. Lethal's all sustained. So you've got 32 attacks, strength 5, AP 0. I mean, that's pretty good. There are definitely ways of upping that as well, right? So eventually you will. I think chain cannons are pretty. Do you have any other options? Options D. Havoc. Here in the Havoc mine. You might. I mean, the other option is the thing with the Reaper chain cannons is they're 24-inch range. They're quite short, so obviously you want to be going in a I know for that. You ignore any and all modifiers to hit, so you ignore cover, which is so you're not worried about that. Get lethal or sustained, so it might be a case of going like lethals or sustained depending on that. Auto cannons are also pretty good now. Obviously, it's less shots. It'll only be 8 shots total. But strength 9, AP 1, 3 damage. I guess for the question would be for you and other Chaos Space Marine players is what other methods do you have of that kind of profile, like low AP, high volume? Once the Kitbash some Orc do you think have the best guns to take? Make them pick up a arm from a Centurion, like the whole arm. Hold that, that'd be fun. I haven't played against Season and kind of concerned about the matchup. I do want to give the matchup a try though. Most I've played against in 11th has been Guardsman. It will be very different to those two. Depending on what list they have, it's just going to be a case of be aware of how tough they can be and be aware of their movement. Like with their movement, they can move during the shooting phase and stuff. I mean, not the heavy bolters. Heavy bolters are also pretty good. 5, 1, 2. So that's already sustained hit, so you can get sustained and lethal. Auto cannons, I think, are just quite good. Strength 9. But again, it's lower shot. It really depends what you need from the Reaper chain cannon. But I mean, 32 shots is nothing to... These things get high in runs everywhere, swamp them with high volume of fire and focus until they die, so they don't really... Yeah. It depends on which squad, obviously. Like, he can't regenerate in... Oh, yeah, be very, very careful if you're playing... If they're playing, the Rubricae Phalanx, be very, very careful of Scarab Cult. Very, very. My god, there's a lot of people streaming. Yeah. Right, it's been a while, but we're going to do some raiding. I'm getting warm, and I need to sort out. Where's the raid? There it is. We're going to raid on Twitch and on YouTube. On Twitch, we're going to go raid Katie Plays 40k. And on YouTube, we're going to go raid Liam Devsix. It's been a while. So, thank you very much for watching. Been a lot of fun. Back on Thursday. Next Thursday, I'll probably do something more than just yap. But yeah, go show everyone some love. And I will see you next time watching.